coming back.
Okay. Good morning, guys. And, for those of you who aren't here, you get to watch the video. I want to talk about a couple of different things in addition to safety. We're going to have our safety meeting this morning. First thing is regarding invoices, and for the three of you that are newer, anyway, the two of you are newer, and Jesse, you basically haven't really done too much on the iPad yet, right?
Yeah.
It's against company policy. I don't want to ever see this happen again. If you have a change order on a job, okay, do not do the work, buy the materials, or install the materials. You can buy the materials. Don't install the materials until you get a signature on whatever the additional work is. So what happens is, especially on a larger project, we're doing a big job, and you go and the customer says, oh, I want to put another vent here, I want to put a duct here, I want to do this, I want to do that, all these different things that they want to add on to the original contract. You have to not only send the proposal for the additional work to them, get a signature. It doesn't count until we get a signature. Because then what happens is, and what did happen is, we did all the work, bought all the materials, installed it all, did everything the customer wanted, and then later on we sent them a proposal for the additional work. And we put on there, instead of estimate, change order per customer's requests. Well, then you got to argue with the customer what really is a change order, what's not a change order, and we ended up taking about 25% of what we then wrote it for. So we said, okay, we want $4,100, and we get $1,400. So it's kind of hard to argue when there's other issues that happen on a job, because let's say, for an example, the job didn't go real smooth overall. You still got everything done, but it took a lot longer to go. Issue here, issue there, whatever. Now the customer, since they don't have a signature, they can argue all they want about everything. Well, you guys took so long, and I inconvenienced me here, inconvenienced me there. Well, that should have been part of this. I mean, all these shoulda, coulda, wouldas, you can talk all day long what should have been done, but bottom line is, we didn't have a signature. So we did the work, bought the materials, installed it, and we didn't get nearly what we should have gotten for it. So, company policy going forward, you do not do the work without a signature. That includes add-ons. If you're going to add something on, an additional work, it needs to be on a contract and signed. Okay? Any questions? No? It should be pretty simple, but guys, we can't afford to lose $3,000 or $4,000 because of someone not getting a signature, getting the work authorized prior to doing it. Because then there's no, there's nothing that can be said, well, this or this didn't happen or this could have happened. We may have still had to discount for whatever reason. I mean, that could have still happened. I don't know. I wasn't in the conversation, but not directly. But the bottom line is, with a signed contract, it's a lot harder for them to come back and say, no, I'm not going to pay that. We have a choice of what we're going to discount rather than them saying, no, I'm not paying that. The most I'm going to give you is this, and then we have to accept it. So, none of that, no more. Okay. All right, this one here, safety, and I didn't bring my safety sheet in. I'll bring it in a minute before we're done here. This one's more on the HVAC technician, things they need to be aware of. So it'll apply to at least one or two of you here, and then anybody who's watching it. So basically, there's a lot of hazards that HVAC technicians are exposed to while on the job. And I got 5 important safety tips that I looked up here. So making protection a priority. The most effective way to stay safe while on the job is to make protection your priority. So anytime you're being exposed to contaminants such as dust and debris, what do you think you need to wear? A mask or a respirator, right? Depends on the conditions. If you have fiberglass and the type of fiberglass insulation in there, what do you think is better for you, a respirator or a mask? Huh? It's better.
Respirator?
Either way, I
A
would.
respirator.
I
Why would a
just wear
respirator be
that
better?
Yeah, I wear that
I just wear a
every
respirator in
time.
general.
Yeah, respirator would be better. I mean,
For
they're hot.
anything.
I know they're hotter. You know, they
And they're
tend to
on your
be.
whole
They got your
face,
whole
yeah.
face,
You
but
get
it
real
will
hot.
protect you much better, especially
Yeah.
if your filters. Make sure your filters are clean, obviously, and you're wearing it properly. The other thing that someone was telling me about, and which I'll get to in a minute, has to do with dust. So we're going to talk about that with your eyes. But in addition to making sure that when your eyes are getting exposed to dust and all of that fiberglass or insulation, as you're moving around an attic that really may not have been disturbed for a long time. So you get a lot of dust up there, a lot of dirt. So your eyes can start getting that dust in there, you know, just from you moving around. Now you got air moving up there that wasn't moving around, stuff's just coming everywhere. So goggles are something you should wear. Now, there's all kinds of different goggles, and you know, you have the kind that go all the way over your eyes and basically cover it up. Then they do have like some kind of breathing holes, you know, so you don't get fogged up. I've actually seen guys up in attics wearing swim goggles because they don't sweat the same way, and they go over your eyes,
And that's it, yeah.
and you don't have them all over your whole face, and you're protecting your eyes. So they're not very expensive, and you know, they're a pretty good thing to wear. In talking about for dust, I'm not talking about as, you know, using a grinder. They may not be the right thing to do. But when you're just trying to keep the dust out of your eyes and the dirt, stuff like that, crawling around in an attic, you know, may not be a bad thing to try. And obviously gloves, if anything, can potentially cut you. We talked about that with Sarah and her little accident that she's pretty much healed from now,
I never
right?
cut myself.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was just kidding.
I wonder how that happened.
Should have cut it off some slices.
Okay. Assess the situation at hand. So in addition to using protective equipment to ensure your safety, you also want to assess each situation at hand. So before jumping into a task, take time to identify any potential hazards that are present on the job site. So obviously each job is unique, each situation and location. So it's wise to make sure you take necessary safety precautions beforehand. So a lot of times it gets tempting for us just to start the job immediately. Get going, just hit it, right? But it is a lot better and safer, you know, basically to not rush through it, to look and see what's where, including like when you're in an attic. You know, we had a situation with that. You know, take the time to walk from place to place. Don't rush through it. There's no hurry to get across the attic. Make sure you're stepping in the right places so you don't fall through. Not only cause injury to yourself, but then also damage to a customer's home. Double checking your equipment. So that goes from you know, common scenarios for HVAC technicians, making sure you have the right tools when it comes to heating and air. So assess the required tools you'll need in order to complete the job, whether it's a wrench, wire strippers, vacuum gauge. It's important to always double check your equipment, making sure everything is in order, and it's important to make sure that you have what you need to complete the task, so you're not, again, spending too much time going up and down, up and down, up and down, because then there's also, you're adding more risk going up and down in an attic.
And you're getting like tired too.
Yeah, and you're getting tired too, and
really
hot.
tired.
Yeah, exactly. And then what about, you know, if you're using faulty equipment, there's obviously more chance of injury there. So let's say wire strippers, and now you don't have the rubber handle off one side of it. Now you're risking electrocution, right? So especially if you're not turning off a breaker, you're risking, I mean, there's all kinds of things. So take everything into consideration, plan out your day, and make sure you're doing everything you can to be safe, because that's way more important than rushing through and just getting done. Don't take shortcuts, so make sure that in addition to double checking your equipment, you're not taking the shortcuts. As an HVAC technician, you're working with chemicals, electricity, and in some cases, extreme temperatures on a regular basis. So if you take a shortcut, just that few seconds that you're trying to save could cause an injury to you or somebody else. So make sure you follow procedures as well. Exercise caution around chemicals, that's another biggie. So HVAC technicians face a number of potential hazards while on the job. Caution must be It must especially be adhered to when it comes to chemicals. With the potential to cause bodily harm, chemicals need to be stored and handled properly in order to prevent serious damage. Keep chemicals in their original containers and never mix substances, even if they appear to be similar. In addition, store chemicals in well-ventilated areas away from vents to prevent fumes from spreading. So how many of you guys have ever mixed chemicals at home, thinking that you can put something together to clean something better? You will say you can do grease or whatever, you want to mix a couple things that you think will do a better job for you. Anybody ever do that? I did it once when I was in high school. I worked in a restaurant, and we had kitchen. The floors were made with chicken, deep fried chicken. So floors were just really, really bad, greasy floor. So I mixed a couple of chemicals, some bleach and ammonia. Man, I made this gas cloud in there. I'm passed out. I mean, I was just about passed out, seriously. And I mean, I was a kid, and I was stupid. I was just trying to clean because I wanted to get out of there fast, right? But as adults, and even as a teenager, I mean, we make stupid mistakes like that. But as we get older, hopefully we learn from those types of things, and we don't make those same mistakes. So nowadays, I look stuff up. We have the internet; it's a lot better. Don't mix chemicals that you don't know, what you're mixing. It's just not safe, not smart. Just putting those two chemicals together, I'm talking a big old cloud. I mean, it was just like the whole kitchen just was fuming, and I couldn't get that out of I felt it in my lungs for like a couple of days. So didn't have a mask, respirator, nothing. Just thought, I'm gonna clean this grease up, no problem. A little degreaser, bleach, ammonia, mix this stuff up, we'll be good. Sanitize it and clean it all at one time. But I know it sounds funny now that I'm still alive. I guess it is, but don't mix things you don't know what you're mixing. All right, so let's be safe out there. Anybody have anything you want to bring up? Any questions, concerns, comments? We did get and I'm going to throw this out there just because about John.
Mm-hmm.
John.
It's a public.
Yeah, he basically tried to bash us publicly, just so you guys know. Put us on Yelp, 1-star review, and said all kinds of bad things. It's already been removed, but just he doesn't realize, and I mean maybe the rest of you guys don't realize, that affects everyone in this room, everyone who works for this company.
He realizes it. He's just a selfish prick.
He is. So we all know that.
What's the point of that?
He's a selfish person.
Yeah, what's the point?
That tells you everything you need to know about the guy.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So the bottom line is, though, going forward with the Yelp, we still have no one else has put one on. I know we have a few people saying that they're going to. It helps all of us, guys. So for everyone you get, it's not just about you or not just about the company. It's about everyone in this room, everyone in this company. It benefits us. We need some 5-star reviews. So take that a little extra time, plant that seed in the beginning when you go out to your customers, and ask them, hey, all I ask, I'm going to do a good job for you. If you consider giving me a Yelp review, I'll even help you, log in and let you write it up, whatever you want to write about me. Because I plan on giving you some really good service today. Okay, so let's try to do what we can to get some reviews so we can pop that thing up. All right? All right, that's it, guys. Let's get going. Make it happen.